Welcome to this edition of Gyan Ganga. We have with us today Dr. Ramesh Gupta, a diplomat of American Board of Gastroenterology. He is the chairman of Vascular and Interventional Physician Partners and director of Bakersfield Endoscopy Center in California. He is also a member of American Gastroenterology Association. He is a gastroenterologist based out of California, USA. Welcome, Dr. Gupta. Over to you.
March 31st of 2018 was a very important day in my life. I had attended the last 45 minutes of a conclave by Dhyan Foundation on healing sciences in New Delhi. It was there that I heard Guruji for the first time. He answered a very fundamental question and said, "Us kursi par jaane ke liye is kursi ko chhodna padega." That means you have to leave seat A to reach seat B, and you must walk from seat A to seat B. You can't walk on a treadmill or watch a video. Until now, I had focused on the art of living, but Guruji was teaching the art of leaving, and it clicked. The next morning, I went to the ashram, and it has been a part of my life ever since. It has changed my life. My work is easier, my relationships with people have improved, and my allergies are gone. Welcome to the 10th episode of Gyan Ganga. I'm personally involved with many spiritual as well as charitable organizations across the world. The selfless workings of Dhyan Foundation and the level of their purity have simply amazed me. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Sangita Reddy, the Joint Managing Director of Apollo Hospitals and the President of FICCI, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Dr. Sangita Reddy is the Joint Managing Director of the Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Limited and the President of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. She is a global healthcare leader, an Indian entrepreneur, and a humanitarian who is passionate and committed to transforming healthcare system through technological advancements. She is an influencing policymaker and reformist who is actively engaged with governments and industry bodies on aspects of public health and policy development. She is also a recipient of the Best Female Healthcare Leader Award by the Indian Medical Association, the Top Woman Entrepreneur Award by the Government of Andhra Pradesh, and the Best Contribution in Women Power and Entrepreneurship by FICCI.
Last year, I was asked to oversee an experiment that was aired live across the world. Dhyan Foundation sadhaks were blindfolded. They were asked to identify Guruji from a pool of randomly selected people. Their ability to identify Guruji while blindfolded left me astounded. If a student can do this, imagine the power of the Guru.
On 7th April 2019, in New Delhi, a demonstration of science of clairvoyance was given by the healers of Dhyan Ashram. The event was witnessed by a live audience as well as streamed online, live across the globe. In 2011, these healers accurately diagnosed ailments of 5 unknown subjects with 85% accuracy in front of a panel of 200 doctors at the Indian Medical Association Juhu in Mumbai. This time they were going to identify Yogi Ashwini out of the 5 people they were going to scan at random while being blindfolded. A panel of reputed and senior people was selected at random from the audience to oversee the experiment.
In some groups we will take Yogiji, in some groups we will skip Yogiji to see if they are able to correctly identify.
They chose 4 subjects at random from the audience who would be scanned along with Yogi Ashwini and decided the order in which they would be scanned.
Scan.
The healer scanned 5 subjects twice, with the subjects coming in different order as decided by the panel. The healer was able to correctly identify Yogi Ashwini from the other subjects every single time.
Could you give us the answers?
So what you will see is out of 2 times, you got it right how many times?
4 times.
Both times. So what is the probability, Gupta, as a doctor? You tell me. Both times correct. Out of 10 times.
So we tried 10 subjects, 2 of which were Yogi Ji twice, and 8 were other different subjects. And she was correct both times, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5. So by this we will conclude this is 100%.
And getting it right 2 times on both occasions means the science is beyond probability, so it is highly accurate, sir.
जितने प्रिकॉशंस हो सकते थे वो सारे लिए गए, मतलब कोई चांस ऐसा नहीं था कि उसको कोई क्यों मिल जाए जिससे वो ये जान सके कि आने वाला आदमी किस नंबर पे आ रहा है.
This tool of scanning can be learnt by you, and you can use it to identify the physical and spiritual state of a person.
I'm honored to introduce Guruji, probably the only Guru in these times who is the torchbearer of Guru Shishya parampara and is teaching the authentic path of yoga, free from commerce. Guruji has an honors degree in economics and a master's in management. He is adept at the science of mantras, the esoteric healing sciences, and the Vedic martial arts. He has been majorly responsible for stopping the smuggling of cattle into Bangladesh and the massacre of dogs in parts of India. Probably the only Guru who can change any environment with mantras, who went in front of 200 doctors at Indian Medical Association and proved the science of clairvoyance. The Ayush Minister has acknowledged his abilities on clairvoyance. Without further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Reddy to take the conversation forward. Over to you, Dr. Reddy.
Good morning, Guruji. Namaste. I think all of us are living in extremely difficult times. We're facing an unprecedented crisis with the COVID, and there's been a disruption in the way we work, the way we live, the way we eat, the way we study. Every single aspect of our lives have been disrupted. I think it's now more than ever before that people are searching and seeking for inner strength, for confidence, for comfort. And I think it's also given many of us a time to seek a deeper meaning in life. And I want to thank you and other spiritual leaders who have really enabled so many people to stay strong despite the crisis. So first of all, thank you very, very much. As we delve into this subject of, inner strength, a knowledge beyond what we see, a belief system, I want to start off by asking you about your book, The Ageless Dimension. So this is a thesis on anti-aging, and the COVID has really brought the entire aspect of our own mortality in front of us. We're seeing data which shows that younger people are less susceptible, healthier people are less susceptible, people who do not have comorbidities like diabetes and hypertension have a less impact of the COVID. So please tell us your thesis on anti-aging. And while I understand a lot of the science behind anti-aging, what are the other aspects, whether it's yoga, meditation, how do you reverse aging?
So it's early 1900s. There was a French scientist called Alex Carrel. He did an experiment. Chicken cells live for 20 years. After 20 years, one day, our frame is frozen. Okay, it's on.
No, it's on.
Okay. So after 20 years, one of the lab attendants, I think you face this problem every day in your lab, when one intelligent doctor or attendant just sees something as useless, which it's got some worth, and he throws it in the wash basin. Like in AIMS, they call it the wash basin test. Dr. Gupta will be knowing about it also. He's from AIMS. So what happens is that you throw it on the wash basin. So, but chicken cells survive for 20 years. Why? Saline, what you call the salt water. Now, this book on anti-aging which I wrote, I've taken out some techniques from what the Vedic rishis have prescribed in the Vedas across the centuries. And saline, which is used for detoxing the body. How do we detox if you go into it? You see, we very well know now that bacteria doesn't survive in saline water. Rishis knew about saline water 20,000 years back. The Yoga Sutras were given around 4,500 years back. Rishis knew about it. Now you see, when you have so much of saline water, first of all, what happens? The process of osmosis takes place. And all the toxins are pulled out from the cells and they go into the saline. And the saline water is not digestible easily. So through the process of the asanas which are given, like you say, Tadasana. When you go into Tadasana, you see the valve here, which you call the pyloric valve. As pylori comes from there only, you wouldn't know that. So this opens, then Tiryak, it is like when you put flour in a box and you shake it like this, and the flour goes down. And then you go down into the Bhujang and Tiryak Bhujang, which you do. So it opens the rectal area, what you call the ileocecal. And it goes to the large intestines. Now from the large intestines, when you do the Uttarakrashna, when you just basically press your colon, ascending, descending both. So the sphincter is open, rectum is opened up, and water is pushed out, and the water entirely cleans the process. Now this is cleaning. And then they say ghee is given after that, and then Chavanprash is given after that. Proper Chavanprash, not what's available in these days. Prepared by proper Ved with proper mantras which are chanted. Now this entire process, if you look, you would be doing your colon hydrotherapy in your hospitals, thinking what you're doing is that you are removing the toxins from the colon. It's all over around the practice of colon hydrotherapy. But it's drastically done in the wrong way because it harms than does any good. Because that intense pressure in and out, which pulls out, it interferes with the peristalsis. While the Lagushan Prakshanam that is described, it aids the peristalsis. So the entire process happens and the entire system gets cleansed out. And then the ghee nourishes and the Chavanprash nourishes.
As a practicing physician in the US, a country with the highest number of corona cases, I'm often asked, what can we do to improve immunity in this time of crisis? Chavanprash is a well-known Ayurvedic health supplement composed of 54 or Chavan herbs and minerals, the most important ingredient being the amla or the Indian gooseberry. Amla is the world's richest source of vitamin C, the most effective antioxidant, and thus Chavanprash reverses the process of aging and protects us from cancer and immune diseases. Historically, it was prepared under Rishi Parampara by Vaidyas, wherein not only the ingredients were pure, but also the environment of chanting Vedic mantras. Second, it is important that we consume desi ghee made from desi cow's milk. Desi cow's milk contains A2 protein, whereas foreign Jersey cow's milk contains A1 protein. A1 protein causes release of BCM7 peptides. BCM7 is linked to type 1 diabetes, heart disease, and digestive problems.
So the cell becomes strong. Now, what is aging? You understand what is aging? Basically, the function of the body going down. Now, you know, there's a concept called the Hayflick limit. In the Hayflick limit, there is no Hayflick limit to either neurons or the sperm cell. Many people know this. There is no Hayflick limit. That means they can go on forever. Forever. And that simply means what translates into what? Your virya, what is called as sexual ability, and your brain functions can remain active till you live. Since no Hayflick limit to them. Liver has 7 factor of Hayflick limit. Lungs have 14, I think. Could be wrong here, but you can correct me if I go wrong somewhere. So I'm not very good at these figures. Never studied medical science. So what actually happens when you're going through this process, the neurons remain active forever till you live. So the body senses are active forever till you live. And the higher center of the brain get awakened by the yogic practices. That is the basic purpose of the yogic practices. They awaken the higher center of the brain. And since the neurons are active, you leave the body in full consciousness with fully active senses. The virya is active, the neurons are active, thinking ability, and of course the brain controls all the 5 senses. The 5 senses are completely active. Nothing dulls when you leave the body. So this book describes many processes like this, how it is done, how the entire process happens. So if I go into it, become a very long talk. And most people might not understand certain concepts. So you have to do Swadhyaya when you read the book, but actually I'm talking about. Hope I'm a little clear. To you I would be, but I think general people would be a little confused. Gupta ji can enlighten them when he gets the time.
So, I think it was fascinating to hear that.
Out of the many books by Yogi Ashwini ji, The Ageless Dimension provides an insight into the process of aging and scientifically explains how to stall the process of aging. The book was launched by Srimati Shiela Dixit, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Sri Gopal Subramanium, Additional Solicitor General of India, Vasily Sofinetti, the Ambassador of Romania. The Ageless Dimension was applauded at the Guru Sangamam held in New Delhi by notable personalities including His Holiness Sri Jaggi Vasudev Ji, His Holiness Sri Gyalwang Drupka Ji, His Holiness Sri Swami Chidanand Saraswati Maharaj Ji, His Holiness Sri Dr. Lokesh Mani Ji, His Holiness Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswami Ji. The book was later specially relaunched by the Governor of Haryana, His Excellency Sri Jagganath Pahadia. When the Ageless Dimension book was launched, some renowned doctors of international repute had the following to say about it. An authentic and awesome thesis on anti-aging and its complexities made easy, a must-read for all ages, says Dr. Lieutenant General Karni K. Singh, neurophysician and head Army Research and Referral Hospital. It's a thesis on anti-aging, an effective tool for the same, says Dr. Bhaskar Rao, Managing Director, CEO and Cardiothoracic Surgeon of KIMS Hospital. Dr. David Frawley, Director of American Institute of Vedic Studies, says, Yogi Ashwini provides the reader with profound insights and direct experience on the essence of yoga that is very difficult to access today. He offers true guidance for a genuine and transformational yoga sadhana, revealing yoga as a practical way of working beyond karma to realize the supreme reality as the ground of our own being.
I would like to understand, Guruji, when there's such a powerful knowledge in this, why do you feel that there is inadequate research to validate some of these things, to standardize these practices and then grow them across the world? And what can we do to, take this fantastic Indian science and share it with our own country first and then with the world?
It's not going to happen. Because in the spiritual world, we call it a pyramidal structure.
Okay.
The base is very big, very close to the earth, all the physical attributes. And as you go up, you have to leave that. You have to you leave this chair to go there. So you have to rise. I was in Oxford University once, I remember, and there was a whole paraphernalia of journalists who were there. And they asked me questions on yoga. I said, before I answer on yoga, you have to understand, you have to accept the concept of guru. Half of them just stood up. And they said, Guruji, if you talk about guru in this part of the world, nobody's going to listen to you. I think I told him that time we're 110 million Indians and we can export yoga in so many different ways to you. You go on buying. But unless you accept and acknowledge the concept of guru, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Of course, they gave me multiple articles, I remember still. Multiple articles they gave, mid-spreads they gave, big pictures they gave. They did not mention the guru. And unfortunately, anybody who has gone to the West has catered, including Vivekananda. Anybody who has gone to the West has catered to what they want, not what the facts are. Now, since the West has ruled the world for 200 years, it's difficult for them to accept the concept of guru. But here, the Vedic practices say mantra mulam guru vakyam, puja mulam guru padam, moksha mulam guru kripa. So they're not going to accept it. In our country, they don't accept it. What are you talking? In our country, they don't accept it because, like I told you, again, I come to Brutus, what he said in Julius Caesar after murdering Julius Caesar. No, I come here to bury Caesar because nobody, all the good that the yogis have done in yesteryears, it's been buried. Nobody looks at that. But people pick up. various aspects. Nobody wants the science to come up, unfortunately, because you can't sell the science. The problem, the bottom line comes here is, it's very effective, it's very powerful, but you cannot sell this science. It has to be imparted from the Guru to the Shishya. It has to be given, it has to be earned. You can't sell it. Since you can't sell it, the world is not interested. So I'm trying, but I cannot, unfortunately, dilute the senses. And if I tell you names, of course, I can't tell them on an open forum like this. The kind of organizations that have approached me, that please join us. The biggest, I'm not saying the big ones, I'm saying the biggest names in the country have approached me. Some of them. So please join us and we'll make a lot of money, good money together. And we'll promote you like anything. So they have the capacity to promote today. But the problem is, if I start selling the science, it's going to lose its efficacy. It's not going to work. I'll become like one of these people around. Yeah.
So, Guruji, you've given me some really bad news that you're saying this is very difficult to transmit, to share. It's not scalable in some way. It's not transferable unless you have the magic of a guru. And I think every guru is potentially, if it's a matter of the Guru Shishya parampara, is there a limitation in terms of scaling? The world has billions of people. How would you, if you have to practice this in the style that you are speaking about, how would you ever scale? How would you be able to give this? Is there not some techniques of yoga, of pranayama, which can be, shared without the Guru Shishya parampara, without the physical contact, like we're speaking right now online? Can't we teach some of these practices online so that the world can benefit? Because this is something so powerful that it should not be contained. It should be spread as much as we can. So what are your thoughts on the ability to scale some of the power, the messages, the secrets of yoga and pranayama?
I will tell you, but first tell me, can you teach brain surgery online?
So I'm actually beginning to believe that you can not only teach brain surgery, but you can perform brain surgery through robotic surgery using 5G connectivity. The world is changing, that day will come.
Question is some different. Can you teach brain surgery online?
Yes.
Her flame is frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm not frozen. So I genuinely believe that there are...
No, I couldn't get the answer. Can you teach brain surgery online?
Yes, Guruji, I do believe that you can.
You can teach brain surgery online. How many years back have you started this concept of teaching brain surgery online?
No, we have not started it, but it is possible.
No, let's not hypothesize. Let's be practical. Let's talk about now. Let's talk about reality. Yoga is about reality. Can you teach brain surgery online?
So, Guruji, actually, 9 years ago, yes. So 9 years ago, let me tell you a story. 9 years ago, a young boy in my father's village fell down from his bullock cart. The bullock cart hit a stone. The boy fell. His head hit the wooden wheel of the bullock cart. We have a hospital in our village, in my father's village, which is connected to our multi-speciality hospital in Chennai. This, of course, it has some general surgeons, it has internal medicine, it has an Ayush division. So this young boy was taken to the hospital, to the emergency room. They did a CT scan. They found a bleed in the brain. If they had traveled and taken him to Chennai, in the 3-4 hour travel, anything could have happened. So they did what we call a telementored surgery. The CT scan image was sent to the hospital in Chennai. They saw the image, the teleconsult system and the operating microscope was connected to the telemedicine, and the neurosurgeon tele-mentored or coached the general surgeon to do the brain surgery as, you know, every step of the way. So actually we have done it, and it is possible with today's technology. And I think it's important because India has such a shortage of super specialty doctors, and 75% of them live in the top 15 cities. So unless we begin to use technology, we can't help so many people.
We can do brain surgery with technology. Agreed. Can we teach brain surgery with technology also?
No, he taught the general surgeon how to do it.
The general surgeon, can we teach with technology? If yes, say yes. You don't record.
I actually think you can.
You can. Okay. Now, since how many years has this been possible?
Very recently. Because simulators, connectivity, I wouldn't put an actual time, but the first telerobotic surgery happened 11 years ago. Practical online training has been going on for the last 15 years. Simulation and robotics have come together for the last 8 to 9 years. So if you put all these capabilities together, you can do it today.
But you couldn't do it before 9 years.
Absolutely. That I agree.
Before 9 years back, you couldn't do it.
Yes.
Would you certify the brain surgery which is being done today that it should be done through long distance? Would you prescribe as a rule?
As a rule, definitely not. As a methodology to enhance, definitely yes.
That's the answer. Because you can't risk your name. Similarly, doctor, I can't risk my name. If I prescribe this thing online, I'll be risking my name. It will not have a 100% success rate. In a brain surgery, I'm not talking the last word in medical science. I understand that. I'm talking to you and you are supposed to. We are called the last word in medical science. Your word is taken as gospel in medical science. The subject of yoga, my word is taken as gospel. If I say it's going to happen, it's going to happen 100%. So if you do it in your hospital, you will give a chance of 90% survival, 80% survival. In yoga, I give a rate of 100% survival. So I cannot compromise on any principle. If you have the desire, you will come. If you do not have the desire, it is useless for you. The subject will never come. What I teach, now I'm on record, what I teach is 100% science. It is not a 99% science. 99% is a fail in this. If we say something and if we teach something, let me give you an example. Let us say if I give a mantra and I say the energy of Ganesh Ji, the Shri Ganesh energy is going to manifest in front of you. Then Shri Ganesh energy will manifest in front of you. It is not a question. And this has been Shashwat for the last 40,000 years. You're talking about brain surgery 9 years. I'm talking about 40,000 years. It has remained Shashwat. I cannot, because these principles are not evolving. Yogic principles are not evolving.
Nobody wants you to compromise your principles or minimize the results. What we're looking at is optimize the reach and enhance the benefit to people. So I think it's somewhere in between, Guruji. So let me not.
It's not somewhere in between. It is very precise. There is no compromise in this science, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there's no compromise in this science. The tools, maybe tomorrow they come, but I doubt. Like 9 years back, you could not perform brain surgery online. Now you can. Maybe tomorrow the tools will happen. I don't have the ability to do that, to tell you very, very honestly. I have the ability to give that science in its purest form, and I have the ability to give 100% yes to it, not 99%. If I say something, it's going to happen 100%. not
Okay.
99%.
That's
Another
good.
ability, maybe tomorrow somebody else has. The way to tackle anything to do with the body is to make the body develop the ability to fight it and fight anything. Yogis never fall sick. They only fall sick when they have to leave their bodies. Why? Because the techniques prescribed, the diets prescribed make the body so strong from inside. The body becomes so strong from inside that the viruses do not affect. When they will enter the host, they will not be able to get activated. So that is the technique, the way it is supposed to be done. I'm seeing a lot of shows where supposed yogis, I call them masqueraders, are selling off the shelf. Okay, now take this. It's going to give you a shield against COVID. And I'm sorry, it's not going to work. In Ayurveda, there's no such thing. The body's immunity has to be developed and there is a process behind it. Like in a brain surgery, there's a process behind it. You cannot bypass the process. Similarly, there's a process behind developing the abilities of the body. We have to evolve ourselves. We have to make ourselves strong enough that now nothing affects. You see, when somebody falls sick and comes to me, I tell them first go see a doctor. I never give this prescription. I'm going to cure you or heal you. That is not my subject at all. When you're unwell, go see a Ved, go see a doctor. Don't come to me. The question is, the body has to be developed in such a way that no infection can dare enter and no bacteria, virus, or no virus can make the body a host and get activated from its inactive state inside the body. So that is what the technique's all about in yoga. And it's going to go, it's going to come again in a more violent form. And as we're going to reduce our body's immunities, as we are going to go on reducing our body's immunities, and as you're going to be living an unnatural lifestyle, the body is going to become more weak and you're going to be infected with more viruses.
I think the larger point that you made is more important, which is that you build your immunity. You build the human body in such a form that it is capable. It is already every day fighting hundreds of viruses that we don't even know about. So you enhance its immunity, enhance its capacity to protect, and that is the best way to move forward. So I think that's perfect. I'll move to
Little forward, I'll take this. Energy can never be created or destroyed.
That's true. It's transferred. Yes.
So if this principle we believe in, then we have to believe in this principle. Virus has always been there in different forms. It gets activated.
Yes.
Then it gets environment. That is the point I wanted to make.
Yeah. No, which is, I think, the same. Mutation, activation, different evolution, all these are connected scenarios, and I agree with that point of view. So just moving on to the last question, Guruji, is really, it's very important for us to use every tool, every armamentarium, and I believe that it's about health, but it's about the greater wellness, of humankind, of the world. And there are so many things, which is the very subtle connectivity between the physical body and the non-physical, the aura, the sense of well-being, which has evolved not just because of physical well-being, but of inner happiness and joy. And some get joy from doing good things. Some get joy from, buying good things. It's a very different trigger for different people. So in this really complex environment and fast evolving environment, what is your general advice and prescription for happiness and health?
St. Francis of Assisi made a statement. It's in loving that you're loved. It's in giving that you receive.
Perfect. Beautiful. Very nice.
It's in dying that you're born to eternal life. If I were to Gupta ji, so he'll read it out. And I interpret that. It's in dying that you're born to eternal life, because life is what life is limited. We changed that. We made it eternal life.
Yes.
So when it's in giving that you receive, if you're walking on the street and you're seeing somebody in pain and you turn your face the other way, when you have the capability, the ability to alleviate that pain, pain will be spared. No. Dr. Desai gave the pain wave theory. And the pain wave theory says where there's going to be a lot of pain, the earth is going to react, there's going to be a tsunami. Similarly, when you give pain, when you see pain and turn your face away, you are the one who's giving pain. And when you give pain, there will be a time when you will get that pain multifold times. You will get that pain multifold times in some way, in some form, at some point of your life. It is not possible that you can defy this principle. It's in giving that you receive. So when you are seeing pain and turning your face away from the pain, you're going to face it. So if you want to live or you want to lead a happy life, you have to relieve pain. Whoever, whatever, you have to relieve, you have to just continuously go on relieving pain. And relieving pain of those who cannot relieve their own pain is the biggest blessing that you can get. When you will relieve pain of somebody who cannot relieve his or her pain, that's the biggest blessing that you will get. There is no other theory or formula of philosophy. The Gita says this. All major religions of the world talk about this. Pain has to be relieved. When you see somebody in trauma, that has to be relieved. And when that is done, you get manifold. Same thing back in return. You put a good seed, you get a good plant. You put a bad seed, you get a bad plant. So no rocket science in this. Not for Janmashtami yesterday. And people are dancing and they're singing and they're drinking and they're having a nice time. Good. Life is supposed to be, it is meant to be enjoyed. Enjoy it, no problem in that. But they're not looking at that cow and the Nandi sitting outside the temple in pain and hungry. Nobody looked at that. In this festival, what happened? I don't know, I think nearly 4,000 cows and Nandis these people have saved in Dhyan Foundation. They went into the colonies and they got them out, they were attacked, they were mobbed. I'll send you some videos, you'll be shocked how they were attacked and mobbed. But Dhyan Foundation is not going to back out from any principle or dilute any principle which has been given by the Vedic rishis. And that is the secret of happiness in Dhyan Foundation. That is why all of them, all over the world, they're always happy, not artificially happy. Not happy by dancing and singing. Only when they're dancing and singing, they're happy. No. They're happy 24/7. Even when they're sleeping, they're happy. They've been taught how to program their dreams also, what they want to see. They see that also. It's an undiluted science. Unfortunately or unfortunately, doctor, I'm bound by this. I'm bound by this principle. It's an undiluted science. I cannot dilute it.
No, so, you are fortunate and blessed. You are fortunate and blessed because you're giving joy. And I think it is most profound what you just said. And that is in giving that you receive. And that is in dying that you will be reborn to eternal life. I think on this very, very powerful note, I want to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. And let me say namaste and thank you very much.
Hope I didn't go overboard with the virus part because I know I'm talking to the last word in the science.
No. It's very interesting. Thank you so much, Guruji. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you again and take care. Thank you so much.
My pleasure to have spoken to you after so long.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta, for being our host today. And thank you, Yogi Ji, for giving us this enlightening information.